which is something Carol has been encouraging me to do for a while. So I'm excited to do our first How to Be Your Own Best Valentine live on YouTube.
Yay!
And let me, okay, it's just loading. Okay, so done. And then, all right, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just make sure, is it live? Does it show live? Yeah, okay, so we're live on YouTube, and now we're going to record this for our gratitude group. Okay, and continue. Okay, cool. Welcome to How to Be Your Own Best Valentine. Welcome, Anu, and it's great to have you with us. Thank you for being the kind of volunteer to do this exercise on how to be your own best Valentine, on not just for yourself, but on behalf of everyone who's watching live, everyone who will watch the recording, and everyone in our personal gratitude group, our special gratitude group, the founders group. So my name's Noah McIntyre, and I'm gratitude coach at discovergratitude.org. And we have a community on Facebook where Anu and I met after having met in the hallways of Landmark. And the Facebook group just went over 1,200 people. So there's 1,208 people there now. And if the Facebook group hadn't been created and built since July of, 2019, you and I never would have met. So right. I'm so excited. We get to celebrate the Facebook group. We're not on Facebook, we're on YouTube Live, because that's what Zoom from the phone allows you to broadcast to. And we're going to make this available for both our, personal small group of founders, which you're one of 6 right now. And then we'll make it available to the 1,208 people on the Facebook group as well. And I see a little love and happiness on your hand. That's awesome. So is there anything you want to say just to get us started off about kind of what you're grateful for this morning? Because we do this every day at 9 a.m. for 15 minutes. And I'm kind of combining this special gratitude gathering in the spirit of Valentine's Day with our check-in. So just so you can show everyone what we do, and I'll check in, you check in, and then we can jump into this whole how to be your own best Valentine conversation.
Sounds good. Good morning. I'm Anu Dong, and I am grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be breathing. I'm grateful for the moment that I'm pain-free. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for sunshine that's peeking through my windows. And I'm grateful that I have gratitude in my heart to start my day every day.
Breathe into that beautiful heart of yours. Breathe in that gratitude for yourself, and breathe out the love that you may want for yourself for Valentine's Day, or breathe out the love as well that you may know other people want. You send out that love 2 days early.
Unconditional love.
Yes, unconditional love. So I'm just going to do a little aside here before we get into me sharing my gratitude, and thank you for what you shared. There's 2 people, and you're one of them. And I can't remember if you were the first or the second. It doesn't even matter, because it's like when new consciousness comes into your life experience, like it did in mine, you kind of see it happening from different people or different experiences, multiple times. So when we were doing our year-long Discover Gratitude journey, that Janet kind of cooked up, and then you and a bunch of other people, like a dozen people, came along for the journey, a year-long journey to joy. And that was June of 2021 to May of 2022. And in that time, at some point you said, because I think you came in after we had done a third of the program, you said something about unconditional love, that's what the group can you just say a little bit more about that, and then I'll tell you another story about unconditional love.
What would you like to know? What are my thoughts on?
Yeah, well, there was some point that you said that the gratitude gatherings that we were doing were like a path to unconditional love. Do I have that right?
I believe what I said was the gratitude gatherings um, really represent and open up the space for unconditional love.
Open up the space.
Yeah.
And I think representing something, a process, a gathering, a community that opens up the space, right?
Yes.
This is really helpful. Okay, so I want to just put a bookmark on what you said, which is just brilliant, because you've laid the foundation for the conversation about how to be your own best Valentine. Unconditional self-love. It's not being talked about in those three terms a lot. It's being talked about as self-love or self-care, and we'll get to that. Kind of the difference between all those ways of taking care of yourself. A dear friend of mine who was one of the original people to come to the gratitude gathering when we started doing them in person as a potluck, 2015, 2016, 2017. Her name is Kelly Sparta. I was the best man at her wedding, and she's a very powerful shaman, teacher, intuitive guide, coach, just transformative teacher, learner, student of life, and great, great guide to me and many others. So what she said is that my coaching, when I started the gratitude coaching process, which I got trained in at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, you and I know this because we've done some of the conversations about wellness and gratitude. But that she said that coaching that you're talking about with health coaching is really about helping people discover happiness. Mm-hmm. That was like 2011, 2012. And then I'm in the coaching training program, figuring out where I go with that. And then I discovered the gratitude letter writing exercise in my training program, which then became this pathway to learning how to have gratitude for yourself and love for yourself in the letter writing process, which we're going to do. We're going to at least give you some tips and guidelines to do it for yourself. And then I come back with Kelly and she says, the work you're doing, this is like 2019, 2020, as we were starting our Facebook group and as we were starting to do the online gatherings as a response to the pandemic. She said, what you're really doing is you're discovering unconditional love. You're getting to the heart of unconditional love. And I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. Like maybe we could have an unconditional love app and you could just carry it around in your pocket. And so we've developed now the Discover Gratitude Wellness community, which has an app-based experience to being in community and sharing things, like you said, that create a space for unconditional love. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do is create a space for, in this moment, to discover unconditional love in your heart for yourself in this moment. Mm-hmm. And it's important to say that when we're having conversations about gratitude in this way, as you know from having even led some of these conversations, is that we're making a space in us to experience and discover gratitude or love or unconditional love for ourselves. We're only able to make a space, and then the experience comes in the moment by connecting with what I say now is like our higher self. Mm-hmm. It comes from each other because we're like interacting. So let's do an interaction and we'll start to create that space. So is there anything else you want to share just in terms of the check-in, the first part of our check-in, about anything else you're grateful for, anything from what I said that resonated, just any other kind of check-ins about your gratitude before we dive into this more in-depth conversation?
I'm grateful for myself.
Yes.
I'm grateful for who I am, and I'm grateful for the unconditional love that I have to offer to everyone around me. There's no conditions of who and how and why. Mm. And it's just for everyone. And I have so much of it. And it's there. And I'm so grateful for that.
And isn't it interesting that your hand naturally went to your heart?
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say else about what you said, or just the physical experience? How does it feel to have your hand on your heart like you have it now?
I feel like I'm acknowledging it and I'm cherishing it and I'm saying thank you to it
Yeah.
and I'm protecting it all in the same motion.
So you said protection, cherishing, and what was the other thing?
Honoring, thanking, and wait, I'm not sure. Acknowledging.
Really powerful four ways of being with yourself.
Mhm.
And what I just said about ways of being, I want you to imagine if you're listening to this conversation at home and you are able to step into a private space.
Mhm.
Usually this is the bathroom for people, but sometimes it's their like closet or their bedroom where they have the mirror. And you take some time. We're going to do this actually right now because I want to make this conversation really practical and tangible for other people who watch it later. It's a gratitude mirror work exercise that I learned from both a naturopathic healer, Dr. Barry Taylor, who I just adore, cherish him in my life as a dear friend, long time, and Louise Hay. And there's a gentleman named Robert. I don't remember his last name. They wrote a book about mirror work. So I a lot of this at Landmark when I was doing the leadership programs, as well, learning to lead programs. And I've kind of gotten into this practice from a multiple different angles, but I wanted to give you kind of the source material, at least how it came into my life, because I like giving credit where credit's due. And the way I've used this exercise is in the most stressful, painful, challenging moments when I really need to be grateful for myself, because that's the only thing I can rely on. Like when I was in the emergency room with my mom back in the fall, and I was the only person who could be there because of protocols for COVID. So I had to check in with myself before my partner and my best friend got to the emergency room waiting room to help me. I could still only be the only person that went into that ER. And she's better now and she's healing and she's boxing. You know how powerful my mother, Miriam, is. Um, and hi, Mom, if you watch this. But in that moment, I had to find a way to tap deeply into that part of myself that is really strong, really strong. And so what I did is this gratitude mirror exercise where you look in the mirror and you say, what am I grateful for about myself? You don't even have to say it. So if you're like in a public restroom, you can just be with yourself. You look in your eyeballs and you think it and you let yourself feel it. So we're going to do that. The way we're going to do that is on your Zoom camera, you can kind of look at yourself, right? When you're looking at the camera, you can look at yourself or you can look at me. So I'm going to invite you to just take a moment. If you want to put your hand back on your heart to just get present in this moment, take a deep breath. And as you release the breath, just kind of lock eyes with yourself if you can. And pretend that I'm not here with you, which I know might be funny, but just take the Zoom screen and treat it like it's your mirror. And just give yourself a chance to look into your own eyes for a moment. Now, as you look into your eyes, there may be some words or feelings or something that comes to you as you're looking into your own eyes and you're being with yourself. This is like the energy of your soul. You look into your eyes and you kind of get a glimpse. And sometimes if you have glasses, it helps to take them off. And there may be words that come to you. So I'm just going to share with you as I'm doing this. It's happiness, joy, belonging, and fulfillment. These are like the parts of my higher self that I'm getting connected with. So happiness, joy, fulfillment, and belonging. That's my experience of myself being with myself right now. And, if you're doing this in your own mirror, you can say, I am grateful for you. Thank you for being alive today. Thank you for being alive on planet Earth at a time of great upheaval and transition and transformation and healing and breakdowns that hopefully turn into breakthroughs. And you can acknowledge yourself by just being with yourself in the mirror and saying, thank you for showing up today, being present in my body for another day. And then allow yourself to feel grateful for being alive in this moment, because that's all we ever have. And we're focusing on the mirror to get connected to the experience of being alive in this moment. So this is one way we do that. So take another deep breath and just allow yourself to be with yourself. And the easiest way for me to do that is just to look into my own eyes. And there may be something else that comes to me. Like for me, it's always music. I get a song and it picks up on kind of the energy or the vibration of my experience of myself. So the song that came to me was Joy, Joy, God's Great Joy. Incredible song by, Kirk Franklin. Whitney Houston has done it, the Georgia Mass Choir. That's kind of my vibe for today, is joy, joy, God's great joy that I experience in myself. So I know I'm doing a lot of explaining, but I want to give you this kind of live, at least for me, how I do this mirror work, and invite you to create this as your own practice for how you can physically do something to remind yourself and give you a way to be grateful for yourself in the moment, in the moment, in the moment. Anytime you need it, you can do this in the car mirror. You can pull over to the side of the road if you need it. You can look in the rear view mirror, whatever it takes. You can carry a makeup mirror and just take a minute and be with yourself. So I want to give you another chance to just take a moment, breathe in, hold your heart, breathe into your heart, and then connect with yourself, look in your own eyes, and allow yourself to appreciate yourself, love yourself. Okay, so I think that's a good example of the gratitude mirror exercise. Is there anything you want to share anew about just having done that that's fresh for you? I mean, there may be some things that are sinking in. I don't want to put any pressure on you to come up with something to say, but
Oh no, I think the first thing that came when we first started it was to, like, I think the difference and the distinction between self-love versus selfish
very good.
or self-focused. So there there's a big distinction, and I think culturally and society-wise, we've been taught not to love ourselves, and to a degree that it's selfish of you to think about yourself. It's selfish of you to love yourself. It's self-focused when you're doing this for yourself. And I think that first moment, that distinction has to happen, that it's not selfish. It's not self-focused. It's just self-love. How can you love and have unconditional love in your heart when it doesn't start from within and for yourself? I'm sure you could. I'm sure you love everybody. But for me, the base of me is that I need to love myself first. I need to care for myself first. Therefore, I can then spread that as widespread and as deeply as I can love myself. And it just opens a deeper, bigger door and a path to really understand what that means, the unconditional love.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about how going from selfish to self-love to caring for yourself to pondering unconditional love? Is there anything else you want to say about that continuity of thought for yourself?
It took away it being something I shouldn't be doing to something I should be doing. And then it replaced the feeling of apprehension or question to just gratitude for myself. Just looking at myself. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for who you are. I'm grateful for who you love, how you love. I'm grateful for your strength, and it just turns it into it's like a journey that you take within yourself. That's what I felt. It was a journey. It was
Yeah.
quick, but it was profound.
I love that you said journey and that profound, because I think a lot of the experiences that you and I have had, particularly over the last year and a half of being together in this conversation about gratitude practices and how to apply it to your life and make it your own, is it has been a journey.
Mhm.
And we even called our year-long journey together a journey, the Discover Gratitude journey. And I think because this conversation about how to be your own best Valentine, it got invented inside of that journey. So the context is important as you're developing thought and consciousness, because we said, okay, let's take a year to discover gratitude as a journey, whatever that meant. There was a lot of different conversations we had, from what are you grateful for about your name, every name that you have.
Mhm.
And then it came all the way to this like experience of like self-care and, helping transition at the completion of life, right? Because our dear founder Janet actually completed her physical time in this lifetime inside of that whole journey. So it was very important final year of her life that happened inside of that. And I think a lot of us tapped into the wisdom of what she was sharing with us. By the end of the journey, we all had an assignment from her. So we knew how to kind of carry on after spending a year in these Zoom gatherings. And when we did how to be your own best Valentine, it was her and my mom and one of our founders, Lucinda, who said, we want to do this. And I'm so glad that I had Janet in this conversation that we're about to have, because I think it was like, when you're offering some ideas to someone and they'll carry it on, and you think, oh, but okay, so what happens if they, leave their body? Okay, well, I think that Janet carried it on because she developed a deep sense of self-love and care for herself. And then she told us exactly what we should be doing to actually like affirm that you're doing the right thing to help your own sense of self-love and care and self-expression in the world. A lot of her advice to us that I want to just say, a lot of it got developed. The deep tools for this got developed in this conversation about how to be your own best Valentine. And then within 2 months of that conversation, she was leaving her body, and she was leaving sooner than we thought, but she left complete because she passed on all of her wisdom really fast.
Mhm.
And she, as a spiritual being in the body, I mean, it was one of the best conscious legacy leavings I've ever seen in my life. My dad did it, but he had a little bit more time as his uh, changing of his body progressed. She had a little bit less time. And the way she did it very efficiently and very directly, and with the support of our group. So I'm saying that because whether you're like, think you're going to be alive for a long time, or whether you are in the last, 1, 2, 3 months of your life, which is important to acknowledge if that's how you feel, this can be useful no matter where you are. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's not just like, oh, have a romantic date with yourself, oh, have a bubble bath, which is great self-care, self-love. It's awesome. But the reason I'm saying all this, and the reason I'm setting you up for and setting us up, because we're having this conversation together, and whoever watches this, they can kind of pretend like they're here with us and map these questions onto their own mind and heart. The reason I'm setting it up is how to be your own best Valentine, as in the gratitude context of doing this in community, actually has a very deep connection to your heart. And when we do the mirror work, especially if you do it under stress, you can do it like, hey, check me out in the mirror. I'm learning to love my body. That's cool. You can say, what are you grateful for about your body? And look at that body part. There's other ways to do this. But I'm saying all this buildup because how to be your own best Valentine is how to like reach into your heart no matter what's going on, and feel, connect with the love that is always existing in your heart from the creative source from which we come. So this is like, it's called How to Be Your Own Best Valentine. It's cute, it's connected to the holiday, but I'm talking about how do you get connected with the energy in your heart and tap into it. So if you need that vitality and that powerful love to go take care of your mom in the ER, or if you're healing in bed and you need to get in touch with yourself and you really can't talk to other people and you just have this moment where you have a tool for self-healing and connection with yourself so that you can keep moving forward in your life, whatever it might be. Or if you just want to design a spa day, we're going to actually do that in this conversation. So I'm saying all this because there's a lot of ways that you can connect to what we're going to do. So just, take your hands on your heart and give your heart another breath. Breathe into your heart. Imagine the breath coming into your heart and imagine your heart breathing out that love that's there. Okay, so we're going to write a love letter to ourselves. That's part of this process. We're going to develop a self-care, self-love, self-acceptance, belonging to yourself, a practice that can uniquely for you, Anu, get you connected to your unconditional love for yourself. So there's the letter, which might become your practice, or there's something else we're going to do specifically to take care of your body. There's a body care exercise. Because you're taking care of, like, you write a love letter to yourself, you're kind of taking care of yourself on a more like emotional, mental level. But if you do something for your body, the physical, the emotional, and the mental, and then there's also connecting to your spirituality. So it's kind of like the four grateful pillars. I think about like emotions, intellect, spirit, and physical. When you get those kind of talking to each other, those four things can kind of turn into an experience of being grateful for yourself that's larger than mental health or physical health or emotional health or spiritual health. It's like when those things come together, there's like a whole new world of well-being that becomes possible that's greater than the sum of its parts. And some people might say a lot of that's about connecting to source energy. Some know what that means or don't. Some people have a relationship to source energy. Some people don't. I imagine it as like the light of the sun coming into my body and bringing some love and light into the world. That's kind of a simple way to do it. My spiritual teacher has really, really deep ways of explaining this. But so as we're doing this, we're going to imagine the light from the sky coming into your body. And you kind of ask yourself, well, what would light and love do? It's a creative question. Okay. So let's start with, do you want to start with, I'll give you like a choose your own direction adventure. Do you want me to show you the love letter to yourself, the body care experience, or kind of like your spiritual practice? Which one would you want to do for yourself first?
I think let's start with the letter because I think that seems to have a profound continuation of what I just connected with myself for.
Yeah.
And I would love to see it on paper. And then I think it would be easier to carry it on into other parts of my life.
Okay. So let's do the letter and then the body care, the spirit. And then if you want to make one up for yourself, it's kind of gives you room for creativity. It's not just about me like giving you specific instructions. Okay. So if you can just, on the top of a piece of your paper, just write like love letter, body care, spiritual, and the one you're going to make up. So you create 4 pages for yourself. And we're actually going to do this. Did you bring your beautiful binder?
I did. I
Okay.
actually started in Landmark and
Yeah.
it's full of colorful pens and a lot of paper, and it's ready to go at all times.
Yeah, it's like your whole experience of learning about life. That's awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, you could just do is body, mind, spirit, soul, if you want to just keep it simple, and we'll use 4 different practices to get in touch with whatever you think is going to help you with your body, your mind, your spirit, and your soul today. Some people would call soul heart. Some people get connected to their soul through their heart. Well, if you want to call soul or heart, whichever. So then, okay, what part of your experience of being alive would you say writing a love letter to yourself supports you with? Is that more mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical for you? And there's no.
I think it combines all of them.
Okay. So what do you want? Do you want to use it to nurture your heart, your mind, your body, or your spirit to start with?
I would say my soul.
Okay. So your heart. Okay. So you can just take a moment, and this is going to be kind of to get started. We're not going to go into the whole letter. It's just going to get you started because it's going to give you like something to really reflect on quietly for yourself in your journaling time, meditation time. So just take a moment, hold your heart again, and just take a moment and just think about, or whatever comes to you about when you think about what do you love about your heart and your soul. And when you're ready, just whatever just came to your mind, just start to write down some words or maybe 1 or 2 sentences about that. So when you start to just put those words down, and then that you said was for your soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if your letter was only about your soul, you could write, "Dear soul, I am grateful for this about you, and this is what I love about you."
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's just do something for your body.
Okay.
What's one thing that you already know how to do well, and you maybe do this already regularly, like the thing that you know to do to care for your body that gives you a feeling of being more grateful for it? Like, for some people like me, it's magnesium bath.
Mm-hmm.
I know that if I do that every day, I will have really a pretty optimum experience of being in my body and being grateful for my body and having a nutrient in my system that improves my mental functioning and mental physical feeling of gratitude. So like that's mine. What would you say is your best kind of body care practice that you already know how to do? It's not like you'd have to go build a habit for 21 days. It's like you're already going to jump into this today and you just want to focus on how can this make you feel more grateful for your body? What would that be for you?
Taking the supplements that are necessary for my body to function the way it needs to.
Okay. So give me an example of one plant in one of those supplements that you're grateful for. Just one of all the different plant ingredients.
Holy basil.
Okay. So holy basil to you is like my magnesium. Like I can't get enough magnesium in me. It's just, I love it. It makes me feel so good. So holy basil, what are you grateful for about how holy basil makes you feel in your body? So you take the holy basil and you have a feeling of something. What is that feeling that you're grateful for, that experience?
Providing nutrition and healing.
So you feel like nurtured and a little bit more healed when you drink the holy basil or put it in. Okay. So then you could say, this is one way you could do the letter, which it's coming to me now. I've never thought about this before. You could say the statement about, I am grateful for my soul, ...
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways I can take care of my body and my soul is by doing this because it makes me feel this. So you'll say, okay, I'm grateful for my soul because it helps me feel connected to God and I love God. I'm just making that up. And I'll take care of my body as a temple by taking the holy basil because it makes me feel healed and whole, or whatever you want to say. So we're connecting your gratitude soul to what you're doing in your body to make yourself feel grateful as well. We're building something here. Okay, so now you said that, what's something that you're grateful for about your mind or your spirit that we can add to this letter now?
Strength.
Okay, so you're grateful for your strength, and what was the other thing?
Resilience.
Okay, so strength, resilience, you're getting stronger, you're bouncing back. Maybe it's helping you move forward a little bit in life as well. And what about your spirit? What's something you're grateful for about your spirit?
It's kind.
Your kindness, right?
Yeah.
Loving kindness is one of the ways that I got in touch with my spirit as a kid. I got to study with this amazing teacher whose picture I just felt like I had to bring to you this morning. This is me and Thich Nhat Hanh. I don't know if you can see the image clearly, but he's teaching me how to ring a meditation bell at Om Institute in New York. And he always talked about loving kindness. So like when you look at your tea and you sip your tea, think loving kindness. When you walk, take a step and say love, and then take another step and say kindness. So there's ways you can bring that spiritual idea and concept for yourself into your walking as well. Like you can connect these. So you have loving kindness, you have strength, you have resilience. How would you tie those into the letter? Would you say, like, I love your strength, resilience, and your loving kindness? How would you do that for yourself?
I would just say I'm grateful for the love and kindness that I hold, and the resilience and strength that I have to serve the unconditional love that I want to give.
Mm.
Because without the whole mix, it's not complete.
Yeah. And just so you know, as I'm listening, I'm feeling so peaceful and so happy. That's kind of the energy that's coming from your screen to mine. I'm like, oh, if Anu can be that way for herself, I can be peaceful within my body and happy for myself. Like, so you can see also as you do this letter writing process with someone else, I recommend it, but it's not necessary. It's just so creative, co-creative. It's like, I want you to take a minute and write down whatever you want to write about the strength, resilience, loving kindness, unconditional love for yourself. Just take a minute and add that to your letter. The letter does not have to be perfect, polished, finished. I'm more trying to get you launched into a new way of being with your journal, your gratitude journal, and particularly how do you write a letter to yourself in your gratitude journal so you have the experience of using the journal to be grateful for yourself. It's a little bit more detailed and focused than just writing the list of general gratitudes for the day. Or
Got it.
okay, wonderful. So this is your letter, and it incorporates your body care. It incorporates spirit care. It incorporates caring for your emotions and also for your mental body. So it's like taking care of your spiritual body, taking care of your emotional body, your mental body, your physical body.
Mm-hmm.
And for today, those are the grateful four things in terms of how to really tap into that love energy, that heart energy, that oh my God, you're my Valentine. I'm so excited to be with you. That excitement to be with you can be you.
Mhm.
Be you in the mirror, and then taking the time to get in touch with these things and ask these questions, writing this letter. And so what you're going to end up doing when you finish your letter anew, you're going to read it to yourself in the mirror. And that's when you're going to be like opening your own best Valentine card, letter, love letter for yourself, and giving yourself the gift the way we would a lover or like a romantic partner or friend, whoever you choose to be your Valentine outside yourself. I wanted to give you a chance to do this now, today. So on the 14th, you can choose your Valentine. You can have it be yourself. You can have it be someone else. You can have it be both, but that you're really connected to what being a Valentine for yourself or others can really be,
Mhm.
what's really possible in this whole general notion of Valentine's Day. A lot of people, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here. Some people around this holiday who are feeling single, anxious, lonely, not feeling great about themselves, because I've had those Valentine's days for myself as well. Um, Particularly when you're single and you think you should be with someone. Some people are single and they're just like, I'm single. They have no qualms about it. They know that being single, it's the right thing to be for them at this point in their life.
Mhm.
Okay. But then there's like being in a partnership. Like I've been in a 10-year partnership and I'm like, how do I keep this love fresh in the moment, in the moment, in the moment? And particularly fresh with myself so I can have an overflowing cup of love to share with my partner, right? And then there's like, you might be divorced or dating or having dealt with a breakup and you don't want to see any romantic people for yourself. There's a lot of different places we can be around Valentine's Day. So I know that the common denominator is whether we're with someone or not during the day for a date or whatever, you're going to end up back with yourself. And so let's take care of the foundation. And then if you want to share that love with other people, it can come from a place of deep, unconditional, abiding love that never ends for yourself. So we're kind of tapping into that well of love. We're tapping into that river of love for yourself that's always there. This is like a universal, unconditional love that we're tapping into. It's not something that's like comes and goes. It's always available to you. Like when you lock eyes with yourself in the mirror, or when you really take time to breathe into your heart, or when you give yourself the time and the patience and the energy to finish this letter and then read it to yourself. There's a moment anew that will happen when you finish your letter and you finally read it or rewrite it and then read it to yourself in the mirror. I cannot explain to you what's going to happen. It is the most profound experience that I've had in life of discovering gratitude. And you just cannot describe it. It's like learning to ride a bicycle. Once you get the balance, there's a balance that happens at some point in being with yourself in the mirror. And maybe you'll be with yourself in the mirror and struggling with being with yourself, and you'll be sad or not wanting to be with yourself, or you'll be like overly happy, like I get sometimes, and that's a distraction too. There'll be a moment where you lock eyes with yourself and you connect with yourself the way you would a lover, eye to eye. And there's this moment, and it can come and it can happen in many moments, but there will be a moment where you feel deeply connected and deeply accepting and loving of yourself. You may have to do this for like 100 or 200 or 300 or 400 or 500, even 1,000 days. It's not like this is all magical. It happens for us at different times when we're ready to connect with ourselves. But I'm giving you this practice so that you have that way of diving into the depth of your love for yourself that's always there. It's always available. And I'm not saying that the mirror and the letter and the reading to yourself is the only way to do it. Other people, have near-death experiences and they realize that they have a second lease on life, and that's when they fall in love with themselves. Other people need to like leave their body and come back for another lifetime to do it again. That's my Buddhist kind of beliefs at play. So whatever your experience is, I just invite you to practice this. And I wanted to make sure you had enough ways to get started so that being your own best Valentine that maybe you can have a little breakthrough or an aha moment before Valentine's Day and bring that good energy of an unconditional love into the day of itself and share that with other people. Or maybe this is just like a little taste of what you can go slowly and gradually a little bit deeper with each day, for the next day to, just one day at a time, however much long you need to do this. So do you have any questions about kind of the actual like physics of what we're doing and how we're doing it? Like, is there any kind of questions or clarification you want on what we've started here?
No, I just want to say that this letter is going to be profound when I read it to myself, because I've always had other people tell me how much they love me and what they see, but to get it from myself is going to be a very different experience. And I look forward to seeing.
Yeah, say that again. It broke up.
I look forward to what the results are for it.
Okay. So, this is interesting because when we did this last year, we really went deep into the letter writing while we were together.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually think that giving you time to go through and watch this recording, right, and really do the letter step by step, and then maybe in a couple of weeks, give yourself 14 days, like in the spirit of Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
We could get back together on like the 28th or something. Give yourself a couple of weeks to really put this practice into practice. And then you can come and share what you learned about yourself in doing the letter with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And we can do it inside our gratitude group so that you can have the feeling of other people around you as you're leading, you're acknowledging yourself in front of other people. And then it will be like, oh, the community will really deeply know who you are at the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can love yourself at the level you're loving yourself. And it can be a really nice, supportive fit and connection.
Yeah.
So what we can do is also share this recording with other members of the founding group, the founders of the group, and invite them to do this over the next 2 weeks. And then we can all come together, read our letters if we want to, that we wrote to ourselves to each other, and then share about what we discovered and learned about our gratitude for ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about what difference that'll make in supporting each other in discovering our gratitude for ourselves every day.
Right. I love it.
Yeah. So now you know this, but I'll just tell whoever's listening. Every morning now, we're doing this for like an undefined amount of time. It's kind of an experiment to see like how grateful a life can we have. Every morning from 9 to 9:15 Eastern time, we're here together, checking in, connecting, having this thing that we call a gratitude gathering. And 9 to 9:15, gratitudezoom.com, Zoom ID 617-894-3500, password 2468. So you can come and like check in with us about this if you're really curious or interested, like how we've been building this ability to even have this conversation after being connected on Zoom every day or every week for about almost 2 years. So that's a chance to really kind of get more connected to how to practice gratitude for yourself more in depth, is be with us. It's really fun. It's really social. It's really fast. We get right to the point and we flip ourselves from being able to have space for what we're not grateful for, what we are grateful for, and then really focusing our energy on loving ourselves unconditionally for the day. So we do that 9:15 Eastern time. And if you want to be on like the reminder list for that group, you can text the word gratitude to 617-485-0744. That's 617-485-0744. And that will get you connected to our online app-based community that you can keep in your pocket all the time and have a place to check in and share your gratitude 24/7. We also have a fabulous Facebook group where Anu and I really got connected about this. And if you type in the Discover Gratitude community on Facebook, or you go to facebook.com/groups/discover gratitude.org. That'll get you into our community, and it's open to the public and available as a way to share your gratitude, again, 24/7. I am so appreciative of you being here with me this morning, Anu, and kind of like rearranging your molecules to just kind of dive into the depth of this conversation right away, right as you're starting your day.
I'm so grateful to be here with you. This is eye-opening, and I look forward to just loving myself more.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And if people want to like connect with me individually, like you know this already, but I'll just tell the audience, you can go to Instagram at Gratitude Coach. If you go to Twitter, it's at Noah McIntyre, or you can type in discovergratitude.org and my profile will come up. On Facebook, I'm Gratitude Noah. So facebook.com/Gratitude Noah or /Coach Noah. Best way is to text that number, gratitude, to 617-485-0744. And we can do individual gratitude coaching like you and I have done this morning. But the whole purpose is to get you connected to thousands of people around the world. So you're connecting to practitioners to really keep this alive. And if there's any ideas or takeaways or lessons that you've learned from being with me and Anu this morning, please put it in the comments. Would love it, love it, love it. And if you put in the comments, I'm grateful for myself, I will reach out to you and give you a special little gift. So 617-485-0744, text the word gratitude, and comment now while you're watching this. Just put it in the comments on YouTube, and then we'll have a little list of people, and we'll invite you to like a special gratitude gathering and continue the depth of this conversation. Love you so much, Anu. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you for being with me. Thanks. All right. Love you.
Love you.
Happy Valentine's Day for yourself, first and foremost.
Happy Valentine's Day for you, for you.